It's what you've been waiting for, the grand finals of the Intel Extreme Masters Oakland. 64 IEM events all the way from 2006, and now 10 years later, we find ourselves doing the same thing, but bigger and better. Esports is here to stay, and so is CSGO, as two teams are about to clash for $300,000. SK Gaming, the Brazilian powerhouse, defending world champions, two back-to-back majors, are about to meet their fate, and that fate is formed from the NiP roster, the Swedish roster that has housed some of the most ridiculous CS games that we know and love. 1,000 matches the core roster has played together, in fact, over 1,000 maps already. This is going to be 2 or rather 3 maps to remember, though, and to join me to get hyped about this one, it's none other than YNK and Dazed. Gents, this is going to be big. I mean, we've been slowly working our way up to some good CS, right? Like, we started those group stages, me and Sam were sitting there going, oh, well, that was a stomp. Didn't see a single game go over 10 rounds. These quarters, these semis, it just all correlates for a big grand final, right, Sam?
Yeah, it just keeps getting better and better, and the teams just keep getting more and more evenly matched as we go on. And now we have SK versus NiP, who have definitely been the two best teams in this tournament, there's no doubt. Both teams playing at an incredibly high level, and both teams very different play styles as well. So this is going to be just a clash of titans.
Is it a clash of styles as well, Janko? Like SK Gaming and NiP, are there any direct and obvious differences between the two, or have we got two very similar kind of forces to be reckoned with here?
To an extent, I think that the difference is that SK has more variety right now than NiP. They have more variety in their T side. They are more prone to switching up the pace as well, which I think is extremely important. And they are, in my opinion, quicker at adapting, right? They're more proactive than NiP is in their play. That just might be the small edge that SK will have in this grand final.
Well, without further ado, we are going to be jumping into the discussion after, of course, we get these grand finalists on stage. Every single seat here looks filled. In fact, we sold you the whole seat, but you'll only need the edge of it for this grand final. But first, we have to introduce SK and NiP. Let's get, though, to OJ to get this proceeding started.
Thank you very much, Machine. You are right. There is an electric atmosphere here in the Oracle. Here in Oakland, ready for the grand final of the Intel Extreme Masters. $300,000, the lion's share is on the line for the winners, and that trophy, which is behind me. It has been an amazing tournament so far. The two teams that have made it to the final possibly would be the teams you would have predicted, and it means we're about to have an epic battle. So Oakland, are we ready for this? Are we ready for a grand final? Well then, please welcome to the stage the two teams taking each other on in a best of 3. They are SK Gaming and NiP! So then the teams are on stage. Let's talk to Fallen first. You watched that last best of 3. How did you feel NiP played?
I think they're playing great. They're a great team. They had a great show-off. Of course, Nuke is on their best maps. They managed to come back. So we're looking forward for its final. It's going to be a good game.
You, over the past 12 months, 2 majors, you've steamrolled teams. Are you in that form?
We're going to check out. I think we are doing great. We had a good semifinals as well. So I'm looking forward. I think we have everything we had necessary to win this match.
It was a tough semi-final for you. It was exhausting to watch. I know you were emotionally drained afterwards. You've had half an hour off. How are you feeling right now?
Good.
I love the way you check the moustache out. You've seen them playing. Are they at their best? Are they beatable?
Everyone is beatable, if you ask me. They're a great team. We had close battles every time. So it's going to be very interesting to see. And I heard they've been waiting to get trained out there, so we will see what happens on that map first.
Well, that is a little taste of what is going to come. Celestia, you Fallen, what do you want to say to NiP?
Good luck, have fun, let's make a great show.
And what do you want to say to SK?
That's mean. You should never say like something like that. You should always respect your opponents and keep going with that. So I will not say good luck, but let's have a fun game and see who's gonna be the winner.
All right, then if you want to touch gloves, touch gloves. Let's get this on! It is time for the finals of the Intel Extreme Masters. If you're ready, give me a hell yeah! Let's do it, Machine, it's over to you!
Let's do it indeed, OJ. Thank you so much. It is NiP SK. And when you do review the 12 teams competing, we've waved goodbye to 10 of them. But it does just feel right, Janko, doesn't it? SK, NiP, we're closing out the year. This year has been the year of SK Gaming. I'll never forget just what they were capable of over in Cologne and picking up that major title, $1 million on the line, not $100. That would be quite the peanut major. But alongside that, NiP as well, a team that has been just kind of searching for greatness ever since we did see them make that shift, pick up the coach, start making big results again, seeing that, of course, Malmo going their way. And I just want to know, like, your initial thoughts. When you see SK NiP and you know that this is a grand final, I want to know just whether or not you have a very clear favorite or if you genuinely are sitting here as an analyst, as a CSGO brain, not knowing how this is going to play out.
I have absolutely no idea how this is going to go.
That's how it should be.
Like, because in theory, you're thinking, okay, maps, every team, both teams have their own map they're most likely going to take, and then we go to a third map, which we still don't know what map it's going to be, but that map is very 50-50.
Yeah.
So in the end, in my opinion, it will come down to who performs better, right? No matter how much I hate this sentence, it's who makes less mistakes.
Oh, we are falling into cliches, but we have to. You really do. Dazed, looking at you now for this one, in terms of, you know, predictability, in terms of how this one goes, does map veto really define how this match is about to play out?
Well, I think both teams are going to win the map that they pick.
It's the third.
Yes,
You're already promising me a third map.
I really do think it's going to go to 3, but we have no idea what the third map's going to be, so it's so hard to predict. Having said that, I mean, I feel like I just need to flip-flop again.
You're going to flip-flop? I mean, you nearly flipped and flopped on phase. Didn't happen.
The problem is when you look at, okay, we see the map veto now on stage, and SK did decide to actually veto Nuke instead of Cash, which is extremely surprising. Yes, it's not just that Cash is their go-to ban, it's that unlike the semifinals against Astralis, NiP is actually a team that is really good on Cash. So now NiP is in a position where they get to play Cash. I'm not sure if they themselves expected this, per se, but I think they should go for it because it is SK's permaban, and NiP has been regarded for a while like the best team in the world, perhaps, even on Cash.
And I completely agree with SK banning Nuke here. I actually talked to Vaughn, and he told me they were going to ban it, so I had a little ace up my sleeve.
Inside info.
I did. So he said we're going to bring out the Cash, and that they've been planning it a little bit, and that, you know, and I agree with it. I think they would lose on Nuke.
I think this is a very important, like, a very important thing we need to mention, because it's very rare we see a team switch their permaban in a best-of-3 for the first map, right? So that means that they've lost confidence in Nuke so much that they're willing to play a map that they haven't competitively played since DreamHack Malmo, probably, which was around April. It was in the spring. But that being said, Cash is a map which is that can be puggy at times, right? It's not as complicated to play it on both the T or CT side. And also, a lot of teams know how NiP likes to play Cash T side. They know that NiP at this point puts a lot of pressure towards that B bomb side, towards the checkers area, whether it's Getright by himself, the whole team behind him. So in theory, SK, knowing that they would go for, you know, Cash instead of Nuke, they might devise a game plan against it. Okay, how are we going to approach that because we know it's coming? So it might not be as bad as it looks initially.
Well, we can bring up the rest. Of course, we want to see exactly how that third map goes down. Because, I mean, Sam, you said we're expecting to see it go to a third, and Cobblestone.
I'm very surprised by this, because I thought that it's going to come down to between Dust 2 and Overpass, simply because I was thinking that SK is going to go for that Cobble ban, but it seems they actually decide to let it go through and veto Dust 2 instead.
Yeah.
What is that speechless? Look at your face.
I'm a bit speechless. I thought they would actually play Overpass just because, well, obviously NiP banned it. I'm surprised they did ban it. So I thought they were going to play Overpass, and I thought SK would have an advantage just, you know, watching them right there. I think they would have reads on what they do. Having said that, on Cash, I agree. I think SK could actually win it, believe it or not.
Yeah.
I think SK on cash, it plays to their strengths so much because first off, they have two great operas. Second off, their rotates are so quick, and a lot of cash is just rotating very fast, especially if you're in a 1-3-1 or any type of 2-1-2. So I think the map plays to their strengths. Obviously, NiP's going to have an advantage though because SK doesn't really play it that often. But also, it seems like this entire tournament, whoever gets a really good start on that T side seems to just keep rolling and rolling and rolling, right? You win that pistol, they always seem to win the 4th round gun round. So whoever gets off to that really good start is going to have a really big advantage, obviously.
I mean, I have to ask you, when we talk about cash, if you actually look at NiP's recent results, they have lost to Immortals, Astralis, G2, Flipside, a 16-14 versus NRG. This map that was once their go-to home map has by no means been a pristine record up until now. And so the question does remain. I mean, bearing in mind, those are all offline results as well. These aren't the online results that we take with a pinch of salt. This could be a 2-0, Janko. Assuming SK's train goes their way.
It very well could be, but this is why SK decided to go for this, because with all these things included, cash has fallen out of favor with NiP. It was their first pick in best of threes for a very, very long time, but then ever since that loss to Immortals, it seems, at DreamHack Summer, they realized that they maybe need to, approach that map again and see if they need to fix issues. And as I said, it's a map where SK can get adjusted. The biggest problem for me is that the individuals haven't played the map competitively for a very, very long time. So you kind of almost to an extent forget about timings as well. You're not sure about the spots, the angles, and all that sort of stuff.
Well, definitely, and we talked about it before, how when you're so good at a map, you just kind of leave it on the back burner, and then these people catch up, and these teams catch up, and then all of a sudden you're behind, and you're like, what's going on? But I think, I'm flip-flopping again, Machine. See, this whole time I've been talking about the op prowess and how it could punish NiP, and it hasn't happened yet. Every opera they seem to play against just seems to just get crushed and taken out of the game time and time again. I think this is going to be the time that it actually catches up to them.
Oof, big words from Sam. And actually, our first map is absolutely ready. So just final thoughts from you, Janko. And do you think NiP can even make an impact on this train?
I think they can make an impact. They were a bit unfortunate against FaZe on their CT side. They couldn't get things going at all. But I think more than on any other map, on any other situation, NiP has to have a good start, or even more so deny a good start for SK. Because if SK gets a good start on train, no matter the side, they will just run away with the game.
And on that note, we are going to jump into it. Our grand final is locked in. SK NiP, the first map, Train, a map that SK have looked almost undefeatable on, certainly at this event and certainly in events prior to it. SK NiP continues after a short break with your casters.
Intel Extreme Masters Oakland is brought to you in part by Intel, HyperX, G Fuel, Kingwin, iBuyPower, Best Buy, Totino's, Acer, and Xfinity.
Intel Extreme Masters in Oakland starts right now. 12 teams down to 2, and who would be surprised that SK is one of them up against them? NiP with Pitt back in the lineup.
When I saw this bracket 2 days ago, this is the final I expected. I have to say, I did predict SK to win, but NiP, they look like they're in great form right now. The addition of Pitt, he looks like he's actually playing very, very well for the team. It's coming together once again, and it's great to see. I think this grand final, I agree with the analysts, it will go the full distance. Train will be indicative of which way it will go, though. Obviously, SK, I think undisputedly now, the best train team on the entire planet. Good news is, though, for NiP, they're starting on the CT side here. We've had the knife already, so that's good news for them at least. If you let SK start on the CT side, they're going to run away with it. That's when they're going to bulldoze you. So we've got a chance this time for NiP to get their teeth sunk into this.
Before today against Astralis, and we're going to get into this very quickly, only 3 rounds have been lost on the CT side of SK in the last 5 times they played the map. Astralis showed us there's something very important in that. It's economy. If you win the pistol, if you win the first gun on the T side, that's NiP's 2 most important rounds in this entire game. But first, we've got to give themselves a fighting chance by being good on the defensive side. That's going to start with only 3 sets of Kevlar. And a kit on Freiburg. Exist was using utility. He used that early.
We have got Fallen on the Tech 9 as well. Smoke grenades purchased, make it 2 of them. And looks like we're just going for some basic map control for SK Gaming at the moment. They have got those smokes which are very powerful towards the outside site. You have got options to go in there as well. They're just filling out the map at the moment, seeing if there is any aggression coming in from the CTs. We can see one player in the form of Get Right. He's towards the upper platform, seeing if he can maybe peek around that corner. There's a lot of information available for him if he dare goes round.
Very slow start, all things considered, from SK. From what pistol we normally expect to be fast on train. Normally toward the B site, fast and easy to plant at the default position. If they were to go that direction, Get Right does have a forward stance at upper. Pith waiting for a rotation back through Z. Smoke on Sandwich. It's the only one. Flash is over as well. Is that enough to force a rotation? A bit of a panic toward the hell position. Boost up from Exist instead. He's going to watch down the lane, but they're already toward the hitch. Good shot, good position. They weren't ready for the boost at all, but good counter out from FNX as he slides back through and finds him just before he retreats into safety. Forrest, therefore, has to come up large with another kill. Does so, and he's going to follow that up with a second one onto Fur. Pith's rotated, but he's found by Fallen. He's on the bomb train, but Get Right comes in from behind.
We said NiP needed a great start here on train, and it doesn't get much better than that. Winning the pistol round and denying the bomb plant as well. NiP go up 1-0 here. An execution from SK Gaming, dropping the smokes. Good reactive play from the Ninjas, though. Boosting up towards Ali. It's Exist landing that first headshot, doing terrible damage as well towards the Brazilian side. Like I said, no bomb planter. That suggests it's going to be a force buy here in the second round. It is indeed. Tech 9s, Desert Eagles, Fallen, of course, on the scout. They'll be trying to work picks with that first, and then, but the problem is they don't have smoke grenades to work with, right? So they're going to have to try and get the pick first, and then try and capitalize on the damage being inflicted. No grenades at all to work with.
And Fallen saving the most money even buying this scout, just based on the kill distribution in the first and not picking up armor. That does bode well for a good start on an AWP, but that's a whiff, and Taco capitalizes. Huge play for him to start off this round just to get some damage in early. He goes down to 37 after how many bullets were fired at him.
That's a massive blunder from Get Right, normally known as the master of spray control. He gets out-jeweled there at that range of a Tech 9. That's pretty unheard of, but still, SK Gaming get the pick they're looking for. Not with the scout, but it's the Tech 9. 5-on-4. NiP still have the advantage at this point. You can see we have the adjustment from SK Gaming, making their way towards the inner site. They haven't got the smoke with the ramp, though. They're going to have to try and commit all at the same time and refrag together.
Cold to lead the charge in with the Deagle. Go quickly. Pith's found Taco. That's the low HP player, and as he rotates back through, good transition, catches off 2, but does go down to Fur, who's caught the rotation on Freiburg. Plant potential is massive, and smartly Fallen's not going to go for the default because they don't have the information on Forrest's position, and he's elected to rotate for the flank. This will give it away. The flashbang down, UMP. They picked up an M4, and Fur's got 100 HP plus armor. It's now disadvantaged for Forrest. Double peek, jumps as well. That might be a misclick, and it's going to cost him. Fallen peeks back out. Round stolen by SK.
It looked like it was recoverable there from the Ninjas, but the Tech 9's doing such a solid work there. I have to say, Get Right, initial exchange on the upper platform, that was a massive problem. Him losing that frag put them in a world of pain, and Pitt, he does what he can to recover. He gets 2 frags, but it's not quite enough. First, stepping up there with the Tech 9, manages to find the frags, and like we said, that good start from NiP is completely thwarted at this point. It's going to be not the force buy, they upgrade with some Desert Eagles, P250s, and a CZ. But it's going to be pretty devastating to the morale of NiP. We go into round number 3 here. At this point, we have got SK Gaming, 3 rifles, 2 UMPs. They'll be holding things up, seeing where the stacks may lie, executing with the smokes. We know they like to deploy oh so well. As we get into this one, NiP not going to be particularly stacking right now. They have got 2 players towards connector, with more of a focus towards the inside side.
Flash out from afar for Taco to round the corner. Fallen just waits as well to make sure when coming up behind in the ladder for a fast flank potential on these pistols is going to get dealt with early. As Secic's Fur with the M4 waiting to go. Smokes will go down, bounce flashes through the upper window. A quick pop flash as well to cover off the default up close. And Forrest just hopes for a blind shot through the smoke. It's Pitt's position that could be more beneficial. Reacted and responded well for FNX, but that brings Get Right back into the fold. This time he makes no mistake. And as we said, Fallen was watching the flank, so Freiburg does get caught. It's a plant coming in the default. It's only a one-man advantage, but there's no kits, no armor, and these pistols are going to get picked apart.
It looks like Exist is out of luck at this point. It looked like it could have been interesting with the initial exchanges there, Pit with that Desert Eagle. That's quite a deadly headshot to open things up, but SK Gaming executing efficiently there. You want to use most of your utility. Don't give anything away. Molotov, smokes, and all the key choke points, and push down together as well, and make sure you're refragging as a team. They do that very effectively. They're watching the flanks behind, and they manage to keep 3 players alive. But only Exist surviving. Is this going to be saving the Desert Eagle? They're going to be struggling for cash next round as well. They're only going to get $1,900 on top of the 1,000 they have, so no force back can really come in, but saving the Deagle at least has something to work with going into round number 4.
And as the money is brought up as well as the kill distribution, you can see it perfect timing. As the bomb goes off, they're not going to be in a perfect position, so again, just save what you can. Play the long game. It's a big stretch to take to have to sit back and be disciplined when you know SK every round that they get right now is going to be another round you have to win against their CT side.
Absolutely. Well, for reading the economy well, he brings up the Mach 10, means he can have some mobile dynamic gameplay there with up close and personal against these unarmored CTs to be able to farm some cash with that weapon. I'm sure they'll be throwing him some key choke points first. It'll be Taco actually exploring main at the beginning of the round, throws a Molotov towards Ivy and trying to find that first pick. Don't really need to overcommit at this point. Let's see what's available, and that certainly helps. Taco gets the first headshot, taking down Forrest.
Already inside of the site.
Perfect,
no one there.
right?
Yeah, wanted to stack on the A.
He gets
straightforward.
He gets a pick outside, and then they find an empty bomb site towards B. Doesn't get much better than this. Exists the only player with an upgraded pistol here, really. Desert Eagle in hand. He's towards Connector on the ticket booth, but at this point, NiP is looking for some extra frags.
And Fur's trying to rotate in behind from CT toward Old Bomb to get kills. And that's the one thing I was going to say. Taco's low. That's a rifle, but I was going to say to get kills on the SMGs, he's going to be far removed from the action. And NiP is doing a reasonable job to start to pick up something of these guns. They've got the AK already onto Pit. That's beneficial when you go into the next gun round, which is going to be the next round. Takes down Fur, they'll hold that even further. So the SMG won't build any economy, and Fallen and FNX know the situation. They want to play this long game. They're going to sit back. They will find Exist for doing so, but again, 2 AKs now picked up on the CT side.
Yeah, Pit has found 3 kills in this round and saving an AK as well, so that's an extra $900 on saving that weapon. Get Right finds a second AK, so all things considered, that's a very positive round for NiP. Didn't invest much into that at all. Means they can bring the AWP out. It's going to be in the hands of Pip by the looks of things here. Freiburg will be dropped a weapon, it seems, as well. So the first real gun round as we get into this one. Fallen brings out the AWP as well. SK, at this point, many options available to them. They have the execution-based gameplay as well. They can go for the pits, the defaults. We'll see what they bring to the table. It's normally quite common in these first gun rounds to deploy something faster. You know, the utilities might be limited for the CTs at this point. It looks like they're setting up a smoke straight away. A set piece coming out very early indeed.
Minute and 36, already deployed. 3 smokes, 1 at Sandwich. Taco goes fast, finds Exist. That's an opening. It's going to force Freiburg and Pit to put their attention onto the alley. Inside, and Fallens get shuffled out. He's going to catch him in the position with the AWP. Good response from Forrest. No one goes through Ivy, so they have to stand up to the challenge. And again, that fast execution, and he and Pith managed to do so. 4 kills between the two, and A side shut down. They over-rotate on it, though. I call it an over-rotation. It does shut down the execution, but it gives Fur a chance to go for a plant. He's anticipating someone else to be in the B site, so he's going to get aggressive. He may have missed his window to go for the safe plant on this, though.
He's going for the victory at this point. He doesn't want the plant. He wants to be the snake in the grass, get his way to CT spawn, take one down, make it a 1-on-2, and then it does get very interesting indeed. That flashbang just to show some presence towards the inside side. Force a rotation, then find a rotating player in CT spawn. This is very intelligent, and it's a big move. Like he said, didn't go for the bomb plant. Let's see if it works out for him.
The frustrating thing from his perspective is that 3 versus 1, they don't have bomb, but they're not overcommitting. They're sticking together as a unit. They can rotate. They know strength and numbers is their advantage. If they have to concede the bomb plant, it's not the end of the world because there's going to be money on the SK side no matter what. So Fur pushing up. If he can isolate them just in transition now as they start to get a little bit less patient, there might be a chance. The first and foremost would be on his direct right. It pops out. Forrest gives himself up. Now the plant will come through. 18 seconds, 8 HP. The round surely still favors NiP. Flames on either side. But it is the plant coming in. Either way, 3-2 gonna be our score.
We saw that initial set piece coming in from SK Gaming very early on. You normally see most teams going for the default to start, trying to work a pick, and then they'll go into the smokes. SK, like I said, though, this first gun round, the CTs might be limited, not necessarily have the incendiaries to hold you off. They get the first 2 frags, and then Forrest, the MVP of the tournament so far, he finds those first 2 M4 kills, and Pitt chimes in as well, the AWP. We saw an interesting play coming in there. It was definitely a risk, but the awareness from Forrest towards the end of that round. Yes, he goes down, but he dinks fur before he can actually get the plant in, gets the attention, and manages to win the round for his team. NiP bouncing back here 3-2.
Early tactical call. This is actually a tactical, not a technical timeout. They asked in chat, it's confirmed. Fallen says this is tactical, so they're going to use all of them. Every opportunity for SK, and they know their T side is the emphasis. We know the CT can roll. There's going to be an op setup. Pith's got it again. And Fallen has bought. I'll take a quick peek and see what's down inside of spawn, but they're discussing all possibilities with NiP starting to get rolling. Okay, so it is the op for Fallen as well.
Yeah, at this point, they're just going to be discussing where they're at with terms of the economy, whether they want to go for a default. You've obviously got 4 pauses available in this system at this point, so you definitely want to take them, even in the early stages. It's beneficial just to work out what the CTs have presented you so far and how you can exploit it. And we'll see whether Pitt can actually continue this form right now. After 5 rounds, he's currently on 9 frags, doing tremendous work with the AWP. Seems like we've got more of a default mentality this time from SK. Not going to be throwing the smokes right at the beginning of the round here. Just going to be feeling things out, see if they can work that first pick, allow Fallen to find an opening here.
So Pitt and Exist seem to be the 2. And we saw Forrest and Pitt shut down the A side last time, but the 2 that are holding off toward Ivy and have to communicate the most amongst each other. So keep an eye on that position, especially with Pitt on that AWP. Freiburg this time is going to play a little bit closer to get right inside the B site. Very passive approach this time from SK, not the fast execution.
Right now, going for those brown horse control, using the Molotov there to flush out any potential CTs. Very valuable part of the map for the Ts to take. If a CT is waiting there, the AWP, for example, means he gets a ton of information. He'd have 4 rifles towards outside, so it's always very beneficial to expend one of your Molotovs at the start, just to clear that area out and take the vision away from the CTs at least. That means they do normally have to keep 1 player in the inside site, 1 in connector as well, and you keep them second-guessing at that point. So they managed to push that position back. Now they'll be rotating, presumably, into another outside execution with the smokes they have remaining.
Bombs near ladder. It's a tough position to come out of. You've got to have some aggro pulled in the other positions to try and pull away from the fact that Z Connector is going to be your first rotation. So there'll be a confrontation. It's going to be 4 players coming out of A main. If they can head to the right and get to E-box, that may negate the fact that the bomb will be isolated. Fur wants to be the first one in. Fallen setting back for an additional flash over. Quick pop out. Now they'll go. Bombs out. FNX. He wants to take it into the smokes immediately. No one boosted ticket booth. They do catch through the edge of the smoke, though. Forrest gets FNX. That bomb temporarily dropped. Cold's got to recover it. It's going to put him down. Planting the bomb means 3 players left to defend him, and they do so successfully. Cold takes down Freiburg, but Pith does manage 1 back. In fact, 2 before he's finally gets get right back inside the ladder. Fallen misses a shot. Pith's going to be able to rotate in, and Taco, he's still limited to Pop Dog. Unfortunately for Forrest, he never got to do anything from the control room before that bomb went in, so they have to shuffle out of these positions, and the crossfire set means NiP has to get aggressive on this. And Fallen tries to fire through. Good shot from Taco. Back out and takes down Pith as well.
Taco's been so strong this tournament. He stepped up there. A key situation for SK Gaming, 2-on-2. Brings the scoreline in 4-2. That was pretty much as textbook as it gets to Counter-Strike round. It was beautifully executed there. Doing the default at the start, pushing CTs back, using your execution there to actually see what the CT reaction is. They didn't commit straight away once they're supposed to deploy. They wanted to see what grenades were thrown back in return. They waited about 5 or 6 seconds. They get out. The bomb's planted with 10 seconds to go. Very well timed, and they work together with the crossfires and the post-plant situation. NiP have no response, and it will be a full AK for them as we go into round number 7. Pitt will be pushing in towards the Ivy area. Behind the server for now, but FNX seems to have an inkling that he might be there.
Get right's already tagged onto 5. Very well coordinated from Fur to push him back with the Molotov. Catches the kill on the SMG. A little bit of money for him, FNX. Now, we may know Pith's there. The smoke's going to help him do this, because if he overcommits, that's where Freiburg wants to try and pop back out and trade him. So very good use of utility from both of the kills so far on SK to make sure there's no threat against just these pistols.
Yeah, very, very good work here from SK Gaming. Obviously, every kill counts in these situations and not giving anything away. Coldzera's found his way in towards CT spawn, it seems, and FNX finds the 4th kill. Just to be poor, it exists now. USP towards C spawn, and FNX goes down to 2. Decides that Jules not going to be worth it. Waits for his teammate in the backup. Still has a chance to get a kill here, but quickly shut down. A clean sweep there for SK Gaming, and they're giving themselves a formidable lead here going forward. 5-2 on the T side, like we said. NiP, after winning that pistol, they really need to capitalize. They get the 3-0, get the money rolling for themselves. They're struggling going into this next round. You can see the buys coming in, Matt. it's not great. They've got a shotgun, a FAMAS, no kits. They're buying utility now. Will they be able to get a single diffuse kit? And they can't. So if the bomb goes down with another execution, that's when the retake becomes almost impossible, especially with the weaponry. Luckily, though, Pitt has got the AWP. A fast round there from Taco makes his way to main entrance.
Every single player at NiP is literally $0. Make it 300 now for Forrest. He'll start it off by getting Fur. But there's not a reset on this against SK, so every kill against them, even if they win the round, is going to matter tremendously. Taco, there's one. He gets exist. Get right, finds one with the shotgun in return. But Taco's still praying through, and Freiburg's going to have to go very passive down toward the end of Ivy and wait for this to play out, wait to play the retake. And as you say, that's going to be a problem for them, as they do not have kits. They've got Pith on the AWP. But the rifle player, 19 for Freiburg, has to go against two players which have slowed down and now have time on their side.
Freiburg's going for the big play here. Low HP, they know where he is. He has to make something happen here. Pushing into T-spawn, going to come main entrance, but you can see SK so much time remaining. FNX is aware, so to come down to the timings here. He's looking at the left-hand side. Could work out in Freiburg's favor. This could be perfect, and with 19 HP, this could be the play of the round.
And Pitt's playing so far back, he won't have the information on it, but now's the peak. Misses the shot, they know he's there, Freiburg. He's gonna bail off of it. It turns it to Pith because now he has the lineup, can't respond in time. Can't miss the shot on the jump, but he does. And it's gonna allow them to transition to ladder. Now we will know they're going toward the B site, but in turn they know the rotation from Freiburg is gonna be very long. So Pith's again the challenger, gets in position to cover the cross, goes with the nade instead, mistimed, it's gonna do some damage. In fact, it does take Taco down, does bounce perfectly. That'll deny the plant, 28 seconds. FNX now versus 2 has an AWP, 96 to work with, but he's got to get aggressive, and he's only got 22 seconds. They both rotated in spots. Pith back down to the bottom of the ladder. But he, in turn, is playing passive, playing smart, trying to allow FNX to make his own mistake. Missed shot comes through, and back around the corner. Pith's going to win the round for them.
Pitt having a tremendous game so far, finds his 13th frag. The grenade is perfect, denies the bomb. And you could see SK Gaming getting the information there where the AWP was and where Freiburg and towards T-spawn. It was a great call, but the timings, had they got the bomb down, like I said, no kit, that was probably the round over. The HE grenade saving the day there. There's a replay right now. Couldn't be more perfect. Lands on his head and takes down Taco, who had the bomb in turn. The AWP tried to do what it could towards the end, was just running out of time. Pitt finishes him off. And now the double AWP set up for NiP. It's a little bit risky on train. There's a lot of exploit potential there with the full execution with the smokes, but still, if you can get rolling and you actually find those picks early on, it can be very powerful indeed.
Nade that time won't connect. Good utility to slow down the push. Taco's been playing very fast in these positions throughout the entirety of the weekend. Multiple times he's tried to rush exactly with that smoke on Sandwich in toward Green Train, wrap to the left and take over Hell without the use of Ivy. It's a very ballsy play, but it's been working. Good flash timing. Push, get right back, bring this Pit over, but he gets baited back into a shot as he does hit Fur, but Fallen trades. It's gonna be get right that has to resume position. He gets caught out by Fallen as well. A lovely shot to peek back out. Taco's caught in transition, trying to get back toward the play, but that's gonna give away the fact that the flank's coming in. It's 2 left for NiP. Bomb already planted. And SK, having just lost 1 round, could reset NiP on this very quickly. Forrest goes down, and that looks to be the case. Exist has to be getting away with the M4, and he's going to do exactly that.
A harsh reset as well at this point. You can see the money on the screen right now. This will be double eco territory, even with Exist saving a weapon at this point. Pitt down to $150. 14 kills, though. He's having a tremendous game. That double AWP setup doesn't work out for them. It's a fast play towards the inner site after showing some presence outside. Couldn't really get the duels there going, and NiP losing player by player. They're rotating in at that point. SK Gaming had already pushed so deeply down that inside site. That's what you want to be doing. You want to be getting down towards connector, towards city spawn, and catching the CDs with their knives out. They have no idea, and they can't really respond at that point. It's very well done by SK Gaming. And Pitt, he's the open connector at that point. Only finds 1. It's not really going to be good enough. Fallen capitalizes with 2 frags. I think we have got a full eco here, pretty much for NiP. They saved the M4 short. Oh, he's dropped a scout. I think they're forcing him out.
They are. They've got an M4 on Exist as well.
They were going to be double eco regardless, like I pointed out. So they've got an M4 here. Might as well see what they can do. Scout comes out for Freiburg. Deagles and CZ. I think this is the right call. He probably can do some work here if Exist can find something with the M4A4. He's towards outside right now, but it looks like most of the attention from SK for now is going to be towards inner. And a 4-man stack, and it's go okay, then Fur comes straight out the main entrance. There's been a couple of frags exchanged, but it's going to be SK Gaming coming out top. coldzera taking down 2. There's a little bit of help there from Forrest as well. 4 on 2, get right in Freiburg, trying to do what they can as Freiburg with that scout. Takes down coldzera, but now he's left alone in a 3-on-1.
Copped early damage, did Pith, but still managed that shot. That starts it off, good tag. 2 players on 1 shot potential, but there's 3 directly in front, and Freiburg overwhelmed will drop in the end. 7-3. And SK, a very healthy lead, considering we know this is not the scary part. It's when we swap at half.
Yeah, that's when they're just so ruthless. It's on the CT side, the aggression, the rotations, the AWPing, everything is just so calculated for them. And I don't think there's many teams in the world right now that can take many rounds off them on their CT side. SK, 7-3 right now, NiP on another eco. It's going to be 8-3, almost guaranteed at this stage. This was SK's pick. I don't think many people thought NiP could take it. We move on to Cash next, which is interesting. SK not wanting to play Nuke, but I think it's probably the correct decision. They're going to be dueling on Cash. And I actually really like that prospect, and this could be a potential 2-0 here for SK, considering the form we've seen right now, but famously, Cash, that's NiP's home turf, and they haven't really been playing it recently.
It's true. Get Right jokingly said they were saving it for the major. Forgot he has to qualify.
You got to qualify first, mate.
Yeah, but I mean, Pro League, they played that most times in the season. Jump through, does dodge out, the op does exist. This will push Fallen back onto a Tech 9, but I mean, finding this kill would be excellent if they could get the AWP away, but he's got teammates close by, down toward Ivy, specifically. FNX there with an AK, tags up as well through the edge of the wall. Exist goes down to 32.
But you can see right now in the top left is going to be coldzera and Taco with that inner pulse control. Don't really have to do too much. The CT's going to make a mistake at one point. There it is. Pit goes down. Still don't need to capitalize. Don't need to push in. Wait for the rotations to come in. There's walking into that crosshair right now. Easy pickings for SK Gaming. Like we said, a guaranteed round almost with the buy, but still doing a great precision here. Keep trying the ladder, boys. It's going to work at some point. Get right. The last player remaining, he will be punished as well by Fur. 5 players once again. The bank for SK Gaming starting to swell at this point. 8K for 3 players, 6 on the other 2. So a great position for SK to be in. Not so much for the Ninjas. 3-stage loss bonus means they're going to get enough cash for a full buy here, but you can see Pip. No head armor, AWP. The head armor's not such a big deal, obviously, against the AKs, but no kits once again. Pip with no smokes. Incendiaries, absolutely nothing in terms of utility, but he has been very strong so far with the AWP. He needs to actually step up here, maybe be a little bit more aggressive.
2 smokes already thrown. They had 3 total on the NiP side. Taco and FNX this time looking to be a little bit faster at Ivy as well. It's on that AWP. They've got 3 players to cover off this held position. This goes back to the aggression that SK, and we specifically mentioned Taco, have been putting on early in those positions. Freiburg, smoke off, flash through, dodges the flash, turns back and does hit Taco. Great early pick to find, because now FNX has to go aggressive, and he's actually timed it almost perfectly. Freiburg gets away though, and that baits him back into Pip. It's on to Fur. Finding 1. As Forrest is still in the open, this is going to leave him between 2 and make it 3 players as Fallen's there with the AWP as well. And that brings Fur back around to cover off the front of the site from E-Box. They can push for the plant, but Exist is walked back out, caught off by Fur.
It's back and forth so far. Now we go down to the 2-on-2. Like we said, this bomb gets planted. We're in a world of trouble here for NiP, and it's going to be...
Problem is, look where the bomb is. They've left it way back toward the stairs.
At the moment, it's fine. Considering the time they have remaining, they're just going to wait for the CTs to make a mistake at this point. They're assuming they're going to plant. You see, get right there in towards Connector, waiting for that bomb to go down. He's going to face at some point, and he comes out on top. Now we have something to work with here, but both players very low HP.
And it is coldzera against them, finding 1 already. Now knows exactly where the second was. Freiburg has always played out toward Ivy. Watch that knife, Cold. And he'll go back. This will put him up the ladder toward... Oh, no, he's got to go the other direction. I thought he was going to go ladder towards stairs, but he finds it anyway. Freiburg's in the open, expecting him to have disappeared. And perhaps thinking he already had the bomb.
You just have to assume at this point, right? It's very rare for the bomb to be in T-spawn with 30 seconds remaining. coldzera changes position, realizes he didn't have time to go through the halls there, but it actually works in his favor. Freiburg trying to outposition him and gets caught out. 2 versus 1. Another big round for SK Gaming to win. It affects the economy so heavily for the Ninjas. PD50s and CZs 9-3. This is looking like a very one-sided affair so far. I'm not sure it's recoverable considering what we talked about before when we switch over to the CT half for SK. Even if they just win with 9 rounds, it's pretty much a guaranteed win. This is looking like it's going to get a whole lot worse. First kill coming in for Fur. Takes down Exist, and is this going from bad to worse? But Pit does find 1 in return.
1's not exactly enough. They do get an AK from it. Fur's at the bottom of the ladder. Watch the position at the top as well. I mean, the T-side's down to cover off the A-side's great, but they don't exactly have full control until they get the kill onto Get Right. Forced to be limited in this position. I'll give up on him for now. Cover it off with priority on bomb, and then Fur puts his attention back, and now the AK perfectly through the spider web. Charlotte's web caught inside of it. Forrest goes down. It's on to just Pit, and he's found inside the spawn. 10-3. This is looking a dominant first map for SK.
We have got maximum loss bonus at least for the Ninjas here. They can bring the AWP out once again, have some utility to work with, but you're absolutely right. Double digits on the T side of Train. when you're up against SK Gaming. It's not looking too good here. Double orb setup. We normally suggest this comes out when things get a little bit desperate or when you're having a very, very good game indeed. It's certainly going to be the former at this point. As we're going to round number 14, goes without saying at this point, NiP need both of these rounds, the last 2 remaining,
and to
stand a chance.
Well, yeah, to put it in perspective, Pith's got 17 kills, highest in the server, next best in NiP is 6.
Yeah.
That's a one-man performance. No one else getting any jobs done for them. Get right. It's a little bit closer inside of B. Pith's going to rotate over to help that.
It's actually kind of true. If you think back to the influential rounds, it's when he's finding 2 or 3 picks every time. What is this exchange? Somehow Taco's there by himself with the E-box, but it's all a ruse. It's going to be the T's making their way towards the other side, and it's going to be Pith once again heading the shop.
Let's get right in behind the spools, taken down, countered off. They knew exactly where he was. Pith, he's been bold with his movements, catches himself in the open again, but no one able to take a shot in return as they were planting. It's Forrest that's got the second AWP to take down Fur that might be the difference in this. 4 versus 2, they have to complete a retake. They've not managed one all game as Exist tries to spray through, does find Cold, still peeking out. It's suddenly onto FNX. Inside the smoke, he's trying cleverly to bait this out. He's just got to play his time. His shot from Pith. If he gets on the diffuser, Freiburg's already on it. Forrest holds it together. It's going to be a 4th round for NiP.
Had disaster potential there, did it not? My God, 4-on-1. FNX doing what he could there. Had he found the diffuser, lucky there's a smoke down on Freiburg, so he manages to bring it home for NiP, but certainly had the potential to fall apart there at the very last moment. But there it is, NiP find round number 4. SK Gaming trying to sell something towards the outside side. A couple of smokes deployed there. Taco by E-box, it gets taken down. And NiP quick on the rotation. The Pit once again finding the influential orb shot to bring the rotations in and make the retake a possibility. Final round here of the first half. Still the double orb set up, but still so much money available for SK. Yes, they've got a double orb themselves. Cold, Zero, and Fallen. Probably one of the scariest double orb prospects in the game right now. And we'll see whether it pays off in this last round.
Smoke top, ramp inside. Get right has Pith back in the position to support again, and all 5 from SK want out. In fact, all 5 may go down the ramp itself. Cold's going to go to the upper corner on his own, but they're going to go down and in. Before that, they hold up, but not quite enough for Get Right to take advantage as Taco takes him down. They catch Pith, good tag in, but not enough from NiP there either. It's going to be Fur pushing forward to catch off the rotations. Exist thankfully wins the first challenge, but Taco's done the same. In behind the tanker, caught with an 8 out. That's an easy kill. Freiburg's pulled it back 3 versus 3. And all 3 have kits. Full buy in the last round. The Flames, they don't quite spot the second player on top of the ramp. It's going to be FNX spotted eventually, but that's after a kill came through. And as a result, we stick to 2 versus 2. Exist comes back around. He's got 7 HP. His timing's perfect, though. Caught off by Fallen. High ground for Cold. Flash that was already deployed and in the hands of his teammate ends up blinding and discouraging Exist from trying to take that away, but they're on the defuse. They put an 8 in. Cold's got to peek and find the right one. He has pulled Exist off it. If he actually had held that, he would have had it, but he gets off it on a panic, and Exist will hit the shot, but does he have the time? Absolutely not. Now, there it is. SK's going to pick up round number 11.
I love it. 2 versus 1. Gold Zero coming out on top. Had to hit one of those shots. And like you said, full defuse might have been the correct move at that point. He's got an orb, he has to reset, but still he goes off and it falls apart. But those are grand final tactics coming from SK. Very basic, throwing the rulebook away. Walk down lower ramp with 1 flashbang and stay as a 5-man unit. You can see how crushing this was for Forest. And can they bounce back from this? I'm not so sure. We'll take a very quick break. And we're expecting a dominant CT performance from SK Gaming.
Intel Extreme Masters Oakland is brought to you in part by Intel, HyperX, G Fuel, Kingwin, iBuyPower, Best Buy, Totinos, Acer, and Xfinity.
One to forget for NiP, perhaps, but if any team is capable mentally of pulling back into big games, these guys have more experience than perhaps anyone else. Maybe VP, but definitely more experience than anyone else in the scene in this tournament. And they're going to have to come up with the most challenging, I think, task. I think Thorin said that on Twitter earlier, the most challenging task in CSGO right now, beating SK, CT side, especially if they get the economy rolling.
Yeah, and it's going to be an uphill struggle at this point. 11-4 SK Gaming to win the pistol. It's pretty much GG. We'll have a look at NiP's buy. This pistol has to come in their favor. It's going to be 4 sets of armor with 4 Glocks and Freiburg, the utility player, a smoke and a flashbang, but it's going to be an initial exchange from coldzera as he finds that first headshot.
Good start as well as he gets a second. That's huge to shut down an inner push. That's more of what we talked about in the first pistol round.
Yes.
More of the standard play to go fast toward B and get a bomb plant in, and already cold. Putting best foot forward for SK, lose this pistol, and I can't see a world where they pull this back. FNX prairie dogging it, comes up and takes down Freiburg, as FNX will fall eventually to get right, but that just gives away his position. 2 players peeking him both from the corner and on the ramp, and down he goes to Taco.
Well, shutdown comes to mind, Matthew. Towards that upper platform, coldzera, he takes the peak, and we normally suggest that the inner bomb site, that's a more favored position for the terrorists to go on the pistol. You almost guarantee the bomb plant there if you get down the lower ramp, it seems, but SK Gaming, known for their aggression on the CT side here, locking that down before it's even a possibility. coldzera in some scary form right now, and it's just very common from SK Gaming. We've seen this recently, 5 SMGs in the second round. It's quite strange to see. They know a force spike is going to be coming up in the second round regardless. You're going to have some Tech 9s there, a map like Train as well, very long range. They always go for these UMPs, and now it's an MP9 as well. Still obviously favored going into this situation, but it makes things a little bit more equal. But I guess the compensation is you get all the utility to work.
Fast push from Fur. He's the one on the MP9. Against the armor, he has the least penetration, but he's got the rate of fire if he were to rush around the corner and try and take advantage, and he's already at the top of the ladder. They aren't considering it. I take it back. I didn't see Pith there, so smart from him to hold that off with a deagle. He'll pick up, okay, again, MP9, so he's got to go against armored players. It's the least of the worries to lose. But it is a man down early, and it does put pressure on Taco to abide accordingly, not overextend, sit back, and call for the rotation of FNX. And in they're going to go. FNX there, as I mentioned, on top of the train, finds 2. It's Taco to pop back help, but Freiburg's got both in response. That's impressive from him alone as multiple players entered. He snaps left to right, takes both down. They're going to get a bomb plant. The bomb plant that eluded them in the first pistol. And with the advance of Freiburg on this MP9, if they cross carelessly, oh, timing is everything, though. That could have caught off cold. He turns it around. Nade goes in. Low HP haunting NiP. It's just down to get right versus 2. Tech 9 in hand does have head armor to work with. There's kits on both, though. And they know exactly, or at least anticipate correctly, that he's on the bottom of the ramp. Tap out, this will bait him in, and they both got vision of when he walks through that doorway. Shots out, tries to bait it in the first one, can't even hit cold. It's pretty straightforward.
Well, they get the bomb down there and they find 3 kills. It was Freiburg, some great entries there with the Tech 9, but ultimately NiP can't find that second round like the Brazilians did in the first half. Here's the replay right now of the good work by Freiburg, doing stellar work to get the plant in, but at this point, 13-4, and they have to take another eco here as well. It's getting to the closing sectors of this first map of the best of 3. So far, the only champion's performance we've seen on the NiP side is going to be Pitt. He's on 19 frags, Matt, such a disparity between the rest of his team. If you look on the other side of the server, SK, everyone's performing, everyone's contributing. You can see, look at that scoreboard right now. coldzera leading the charge, but his teammates very equal, not too far behind him. And we go into this one. It's almost a redundant round, I'm afraid. Yes, they have the Desert Eagles, but it's a tall task to actually even consider finding more than a couple of frags as we go into round number 18. 2 HE grenades. Be interesting to see what they decide to do with those, maybe towards the lower ramp or throwing them at the bomb train. That's what I can really think of. They're going to be beneficial.
So Deagle's trying to find range. The 1P250 trying to find proximity over toward B. That will push back the M4. No need to overextend for FNX, or excuse me, for Taco. SK are getting so good at this map. You have to wonder when teams forget their own map pool and just auto-ban it on them. That's almost another card in their book. We're so good on one, we ban you into another that you don't want to ban.
No one wants to play them on it, right? Obviously, you think at this point that everyone would start playing it like them, but I don't think there's many people that are going to be able to go toe-to-toe with them at their own game right now. It's just too scary. Here we go then, 45 seconds remaining. Taco waiting to receive players towards the upper ramp as they commit towards inside.
And already a nade kill as well onto Forest. Pretty straightforward. They have entered, but Taco looked away because he had his teammate rotate out of the site. That left him alone, so he considered the bottom of the ramp, and it was just poor timing. As a result, bomb plant will come in from NiP, and that's going to bode well heading into the first gun. Lovely shot from Pith, who continues to show off good individual skill. It's down to a 3 versus 3 with his bomb ticking, but again, there are kits in play, 2 of them. One on Fallen, one on Cold, an M4 upgrade for FNX. Lovely shot, get right. Now they've got a chance up the ladder. Information as well, spots both, but doesn't. Here falling, drop down, excuse me, up to his name. As they tap out the defuse, that baits Freiburg again, and FNX holds it from afar, straightforward. SK is going to find 14 rounds before guns even come up for NiP in this half.
Another inside play there, and pretty similar to the previous round as well. Finding a few kills, 3 to be exact, and the bomb going down. Sets him up with decent money going into round number 19 here, but still so much work to do. Pretty much need a perfect game going forward. They decide against the AWP, it's going to be 5 AKs, a full buy in terms of the utility as well. And SK Gaming, this is when the aggression probably comes in. We know they like to push towards Ivy. Sometimes they send 3 players up that lower ramp and try and find the first kill. It's so hard to play against them. You try and overthink it, and then they actually just you play into their hand. That's what they want you to do. If they're not going aggressive, that's when they start to chip away at you. But Fallen, I think he has pushed the lower ramp here. Look for that first kill, and with the AWP as well. This is exciting.
Watch Cold as well. They're aggressive on both wings. Fallen's got the first kill. He could fall away. This will start to funnel them over toward the A side, and smokes and flashes are correctly placed, but behind the server, Cold still awaits. And they're baiting him out, trying to wait for this. He's going to go, but that's going to give away. No, I take it back. I thought Freiburg would see the gun barrel. And Cold gets a kill, so both aggressive wings find one, fall back to safety. And now they can be complacent with this 2-man advantage in the round with 1:16 CT side. They're leaving them with very little options.
Just as we build it up, this aggression, even if you expect it, there's not much you can do about it. These guys are so talented, some of the best players on the planet right now. 5 on 3, NiP now desperately trying to get back into this round, and Firm maybe giving them a window here. An unnecessary push, in my opinion. You've got this huge man advantage. You don't need to push into that position, but still, Exist finds an opening.
Bomb at Pop Dog. Exist to get right of the 2 in the position. It's still waiting to try and come back in from A main. He'll start to get a little bit closer now. Just wanted to make sure no one's going to push through, but as you said, there was already 1 careless push. There's no need for SK to do it again. This should be pretty straightforward for Pit to at least get this far. And they're going to reconsider. And perhaps, as the bomb fades off to B, go that direction. Now with Pith not rotating up the stairs, he's going to be the salesman in this. He's got to hold them on the A site so they can at least, at the very worst, have a 2 versus 2 on entry on B. One of which is an AWP, though, and that's a huge problem because already baited in. Fallen missing an uncharacteristic shot, but it doesn't matter. Repeeks out, Exist is still there. It's map point already for SK.
Yeah, the aggression towards the round. Fallen finds that first AWP pick. He's just so good in that role. Dynamic. It seems like he's everywhere when you're playing against him. And Cold Zera gives him similar treatment towards Ivy as well. At that point, NiP had to use all their nades to even get map control. They had nothing left. It was a 4 on 3. They go towards inner, and they're greeted by the combo of the UMP and AWP there. So 15-4, map point. We knew this would be difficult for NiP. I didn't think it would be this much of a one-sided affair. Last chance saloon here, 4 AKs and a Galil. Let's rush out main and hope for the best.
Very fast indeed. Might as well just throw a Hail Mary into the fold, but it's going to be 1 kill from Freiburg, canceled out by Flames on Fur, who then looks toward Exist, spots him, does damage, follows it up as he repeeks out, but that leaves him exposed to get right in Forest, or excuse me, Freiburg, who've made their way down past Sandwich. Look at the bomb. FNX finds a kill, bomb's in his hands, low HP for Freiburg, game over. First game of the grand finals is going to go to SK. There's no world I can see this in. That would have been insult to injury. I think you really, yeah, Get Right's chuckling as well. Not much to laugh about in this game, truthfully, for them, but it's a very lackluster first performance against them on train. Not surprising. They don't drop a single CT-sided round again here. You've got to win pistol to even have a chance in doing so. And already, it's almost... You might as well just give them a 1-0 handicap.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I don't think it can be too disheartened from that point. I don't think they went into that thinking they even had a chance against SK. Give it what you've got, but they just didn't really arrive at any point. There's only Pith really delivering any sort of performance there. Everyone else very quiet indeed, and it will be 1-0 here. Good news is for NiP, we move to the map. Next is going to be Cash. At one point, the best team in the world on this map. Been quieter on it recently, though, but a chance to actually get back into this series.
Yeah, if there's any map that's sort of the same in return in terms of advantage, SK's being their best map, it is Cash that needs to save them. We'll go to the analyst desk and see if they think that's even possible, because Pith's the only one that really showed up in that map.
Thank you very much, Matt and Henry. Bossing it so far, just like SK. They pick it up another win on train. I'm still getting dressed. I was relaxed, enjoying that.
Oh, dude, this guys with my lanyard on, Alex.
Oh, you did. You see, we were just enjoying that. We've been sitting about 1 meter away from our desk and just chilling out, enjoying the grand final, as every CS fan is here at the Oracle Arena. Now, though, we have to understand why train again goes the way of SK Gaming. This is becoming, like, I mean, admittedly, it's making our job as analysts quite easy, right, Sam? We just go, SK train, they're going to win. What's the next question?
Well, on their train, their T-side, you notice they always push you into the positions that they want you in. So they throw the smokes, they throw Molotovs behind it, and they know exactly where you're going to be. And then it makes it really easy for a guy like Fer to just charge you and make sure you get that kill.
Yanko, this is getting silly now. SK again with a dominant win on train. Surely this is like an insta-ban for you now. You okay?
No, it truly is getting ridiculous, Alex, because you look at Epicenter, for example. They have a 15-0 CT side against G2, 41 side CT side against VP, and you're thinking, okay, their CT side is really sick, but maybe their T side is not as good. Maybe we can have a strong CT side and then just get a couple of rounds on the T side. Then they switch to T sides like in this tournament, and they have like 10, 9 rounds on the T side. The problem is that SK, I think the reason why they're so strong on T as well is that even when they have a weak buy, you see, I don't know how many times I've seen them lose pistol as T, but then win the second round with Tech 9s. They're just so proficient, even when they don't have an optimal buy on the weaker side, that just makes it, you know, how do you beat them? It's very difficult.
I mean, I just wanted to get it up so I can put it into perspective for perhaps not the regular viewer. These are SK's recent results on train in an offline environment, so the big tournaments often over 250,000. A 16-0 versus G2 in Moscow, a 16-1 versus Virtus Pro in Moscow, a 16-8 versus Navi at E-League, a 16-5 at this very tournament, and now a 16-4 versus NiP. Like, this is just ridiculous. And bearing in mind, the results I didn't mention were still wins, just slightly by a closer margin.
The problem is, like, this game was a bit unfortunate for NiP in a sense that they win pistol, so you're thinking, okay, they might pull off a good half, then they lose the second round, then they win a round and immediately get reset. So they had a combination of, you know, not having a good start with their economy being pressured at all times. And under those circumstances, the chances of you defeating SK on train are slim to none.
Slim to none. I mean, the one kind of factor that we would never have mentioned in the pre-match was expecting a huge performance from Pit. I mean, 24 frags. Everyone else is struggling to break 10 days. It's great to see. I mean, that's the only positive takeaway.
Yeah, the only positive takeaway from getting crushed like that. And I think Exist really struggled around Hell and Freiburg around Ivy. Fer was constantly attacking that Hell area, consistently getting that kill. And once that kill happens and Hell falls, it's very difficult to play around the bomb train because you have to be pushed towards old bomb. Even CT Heaven is very vulnerable, which we'd like to see, you know, Forest Frequency quite often. So that Hell attack really put a lot of pressure on Exist, and even at times he was having like this struggle with like the fight or flight syndrome. Sometimes he wanted to fight, then he'd run away, but when he ran away, Fer just got more ground, and it wasn't a good performance by him. One time he hid in Hell, and his teammates went to the, you know, the T's just snuck through 5 lane, killed the guy back bomb. It was troublesome.
The problem here, Alex, is this, that SK had such a dominating performance on train that they're feeling the hype right now. They have all the momentum going for them, and coming into cash, that might be very, very dangerous for NiP. Like, if I were SK right now, well, if I win the knife round, I'll go for T side, because that means I can dictate the pace of the game. I can bring the game over to NiP, and maybe, just maybe, they can ride that momentum into a 2-0 win.
It's certainly a possibility. It has been a dominating start to this grand final. Just 20 rounds of play in SK, who already got the first map under their belt. Up next, though, is going to be Cash. It used to be NiP's turf. They used to dominate on this very map, and we're going to be seeing if they can get closer to the cash, $300,000 to be specific, in this grand final after our break. When we return, we'll be talking Cash and seeing if the Swedes can take us into a third.